Oh, I know what you're thinking. I look ridiculous. But really, isn't our entire notion of what robots are supposed to look like just a little bit ridiculous? We have no idea what the robots that make it into our everyday lives are actually going to look like.
When they arrive, and they're fabulous, it's because of guys like this.
His name? James McLurkin.
James is a PhD computer scientist, engineer, and roboticist currently teaching at Rice University in Houston.
What am I looking at here, James?
This is a playpen for a high school robot competition, and we're gonna borrow it to demonstrate the SwarmBots.
Stop right there. What the heck is a SwarmBot? Well, it's this right here, a small, self-contained, autonomous robot. It's called a SwarmBot because it both runs and communicates with a whole pack of others just like it.
So let's get them all out here.
All of them?
Let's
Guys,
get them all
help
out.
me.
James has forsaken the traditional vision of complex individual robots, like your C-3POs and R2-D2s, for colonies of simpler, interconnected critters like these. But don't be fooled. He envisions that one day, versions of his SwarmBots will be put to use in everything from mapping terrain on distant planets to searching for earthquake survivors to airport security and much, much more.
So when you set them down, flip up the antennas, there's a power button on the front, on the top rather.
Using a very sophisticated input device, aka a PlayStation controller, James commands one and only one of the bots. The rest will have to make decisions on their own based on what the leader is doing.
So let's pretend that we just landed on Mars. So now let's get them to go off and do some work. And I'm gonna ask for 7 robots to follow it off to work.
How did these robots know that they want to follow and these guys are like,
So I say I'm the leader, and then I
four,
say
six,
I'm
seven.
one of 7.
Yep.
And then I look around, I find the closest robot, you.
Yeah.
You're 2 of 7. Then you accept.
And the others know I'm not part of the chain now.
Yep. So I can tell this one to navigate to that one over there.
Yeah.
And their communication range is only 1 meter.
Yeah.
So in order for this one to get to that one, it's going to need to share messages in the network.
Has to jump. Boop, boop, boop. Hi. Yep, got him. And got him.
There we go.
James' inspiration for the SwarmBots comes from the insect world, particularly ants and bees. In their day-to-day work, these insects have no centralized command system, but they communicate through scent passed from individual to individual to harmonize their efforts while performing complex group tasks.
Here's a security behavior. So the even-numbered robots are clustering around the leader, and the odd-numbered robots are orbiting the entire group.
They are now surrounding the lead robot, number 10.
Yep.
To keep 10 safe.
And they've made a big old gap over there. In fact, they broke the network.
Okay, the technology isn't perfect. Still, these little metal monkeys are utterly adorable.
Well, this was cool. Can I take one home with me?
But all flashing lights and fun noises aside, James is convinced the future of robot development begins right here with his SwarmBots. There's an incredibly long way to go before robots can move out of the playpen to perform advanced functions on Mars or even in our homes. To get us there, thousands upon thousands of brilliant young minds have to get involved. SwarmBots are the things James believes will bring them on board.
So this right here is a learning tool. This is not designed to perform a specific task.
Correct.
Or is that the eye?
No, that's a caster. That's just to keep the butt in the ground.
That's its butt?
Yes.
Even though there are some pretty extraordinary creations out there, by any measure, robotics is in its very early days. In evolutionary terms, the science is barely crawling out of the primordial ooze.
You have to do a whole lot of work over here, write a whole lot of code to get this robot to do the simplest task. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Think of the SwarmBots as little programmable brains. James intends to get easily affordable versions of these into the hands of the masses. Once all those nimble minds go to work on his creations, the science is sure to develop by leaps and bounds. And the evolution won't stop until there really does exist an autonomous robot that can do all sorts of wonderful things. You know, like fold my laundry.
You're going to get it in the hands of all the smartest kids and all the smartest people out there.
That's the goal.
Think about it. Computers today have come light years from warehouse-filling machines fed with punch cards. But even Angry Birds was programmed using old-school binary code. So imagine what a whole generation of young geniuses can do with a SwarmBot as the root of their research. Needless to say, James McClurkin is a highly motivated fella. In 2003, he was recognized by Time magazine as one of the leading robotics engineers in the United States. He's won prestigious awards for his work and even has an exhibit at the Smithsonian Museum. But he tells me it wasn't easy growing up black with the biggest brain on the block.
I was a dork. High school just was not a happy time. Getting to college actually was by far the best. Because finally I was around a group of people, in particular a group of African Americans who were all interested in science and technology. Right. I had a lot of people helping me, knocking down hurdles in front of me. It's one of my responsibilities to give that same advantage to the next generation.
Yeah, as the guy trying to put a robot in every school bag, I'd say he's got that covered.
One of the things that's happening now that's very exciting is the number and the intensity of robot competitions that's out there.
That's usually how stuff starts as a game, right? People turn it into a game and it disguises the learning.
Speaking of learning, James's grad students have just delivered a new batch of SwarmBots they programmed entirely themselves. And I'm going to put them to the test.
I could see him coming out from underneath this desk.